to Sharon is to help her understand that you guys need to do what? Leave early, right? Okay. And so you're hoping that the outcome is that you will leave early. Now, not how early. You have to be specific about that, of course, so your outcome is just not early. So if you leave at noon, and she normally to get to work, but our boss needs you there an hour early, leaving at 11:45 isn't going to get it done. You see? So you have to make sure that this goal is reached. Now, what things might you do when you talk to Sharon about this? What channels might you utilize when you go to talk to Sharon? Well, one, you're going to have to verbally tell her, aren't you? Yeah. If you don't tell her, are you going to are you going to achieve anything here? So we know we have to use at least a verbal channel. Okay? Okay, what else might you do?
You might show her a text from your boss and
Yeah, you might start off saying, hey girl, guess what? I got this text from my boss, and he's wanting me to get there an hour earlier on Tuesday. Do you think we can make that happen? Okay. All right. Now, you might also send her a text. Say, I'll tell you what, I'm going to send you a text. Or maybe give me your phone while you're driving. I'll put an alarm in your phone. Okay? What are you trying to do then? You're verbally telling her, and she's agreed, so now you're trying to provide her with something that's what? Yeah, visual, you see. Why? Because you're trying to achieve this goal of getting to work an hour early, and you know you're dealing with Sharon. Sharon's a little absent-minded, okay? All right. So, now, is there anything that you can engage Sharon in physically at that point? Probably the only thing you could say is remind her and say, hey, okay, so now, once again, when do I have to be at work? I know, you have to be there an hour early. What day do I have to be at work? Get her to physically repeat it back to you. Get that feedback coming from her and physical engagement all at the same time. Okay? Why? To increase retention and improve the chances of you getting the kind of outcome that you want. You see? So it's all a part of naturally what we do as communicators, but we don't think about it like that. We just don't always think about it like that. All right. But then there are other reasons why this process is so involved and why, even though communication is such a simple thing to lay out on a board, it's rarely simple in execution. All right? And that is because it is transactional. Now, what does it mean for the process to be transactional? I need to give out some bonus points for this. Okay, yes.
giving information and understanding information and corresponding.
Okay, you're real close, yeah. Sending and receiving. Occur at the same time or simultaneously. So while I am encoding my message and sending it to you, I'm also taking in feedback from you and trying to decode it so that I can utilize what you're giving me to better craft my message and send it back out to you. And while you're taking in my message and trying to decode it, you're preparing feedback and sending it to me. You see, so the two are occurring at the same time, and things bump into one another, like we talked about yesterday with texting. You know, if you are up against someone that texts 3 times as fast, or you deal with people like me that text 3 times as slow, as you do, it's something you know that things can get mixed up, and something can get lost in the translation, and you get the people going, what? You know. And it's like, no, I didn't mean that. I didn't get your last text before I sent you that text. You see what I'm saying? Things bump into one another because of the complex, messy, and dynamic nature of this process, okay? That you hold on to that, and you guys are going to write your points down on a separate sheet, and I will collect them at the end of the lecture and everything. So that's a 2-point answer. All right. And so sending and receiving occur at the same time or simultaneously. Now, who brought this concept? What scholar brought this concept into the process and our understanding of it? Yeah, there, you know. And so you might see a version of this that does not acknowledge that the process is transactional, but I think it's a key part, and that's why I include it. We also have hindrances to the process, and hindrances are called noise. So noise is anything that hinders communication. Okay? Anything that hinders communication. And in the diagram, we acknowledge it at 2 points. At the bottom here, and at the top here. Now sometimes when people take the quiz, they forget to study that. Or they forget where it's located, so I'll get these 2 empty boxes, and they'll go, I forgot what goes in there. The word noise. But in addition to putting noise in these boxes, I also expect you to give me a definition of it, because it's one of those key things that you have to start to understand as a communicator and to manage, all right? All right. So when you look at this nice little neat layout, it looks lovely. It looks like, oh, well, if this was all there was to it, what's the big deal? And why do we need to spend the whole semester studying it? But when you add in noise, and let's depict it how it really should be depicted, it really monkeys up the process, making communication a lot more challenging. And it's for these reasons that we do spend a good solid semester studying it. And in a good program at a university, you'll find there are several classes on it and how to manage it. Now, where do hindrances strike? What are they and where do they strike? That's where we left off yesterday, so let's talk a minute about this. I'm going to move the camera over to this board. Hello. There. Okay. All right. There are 3 types of noise. And these hindrances strike at 3 levels. The most common level is at the physical level. That's the first one we're going to talk about. Okay? And these are hindrances that affect the body. Hindrances that affect the body. Now, when you look at the process in and of itself, let me have this over a little too far. Who has a body? Well, the sender has a body, and the receiver has a body. So it can physically strike either the sender or the receiver. Okay? Now, there are 2 types. There's internal and there's external forms of physical noise. Okay? Internal means that the physical hindrance strikes inside of the body. So you might find that you're hungry. And when we are hungry, do we tend to communicate as effectively? No. You know, they're calling it hangry now. I'm hungry and angry, okay? So if someone is hungry, if someone is sleepy, if someone is in some kind of pain, okay, a lot of times it is a much more challenging to communicate. Now, school districts figured this out a long time ago, because when it came to school children, they found that, most of the children weren't learning because they were hungry. So now they have these breakfast programs, and the children come in and they get a nice little meal, and then they're ready to learn. See? And so these hindrances are very real. Okay? External hindrances, they impact the body, but they strike outside of the body. And they include things like the room being too hot or too cold. Now, I can deal with heat better than I can being too cold. When I'm too cold, I just seize up. I can't, concentrate. So if the room is too hot or cold, or if there is noise. I mean, the fan that we have in here now, it's difficult on some people. I've had people have to move to different points in the room because they can't take in the lecture as well due to the actual noise of the fan. One summer, when there was a lot of construction going on and the heat was out in the building, we had to raise the windows. And this is before we actually paved that way between the buildings. And we had the fire station, as you guys well know, right over there. And at any given moment in the middle of the lecture, it'd be, I just stopped lecturing, you had to wait because nobody was going to hear anything that was said while it was, it's like, yeah, so actual noise, all right? And so, these are things that make communication more difficult, all right? The second type of noise is also very important to discern and to manage, and that is psychological noise. Okay? This noise hinders, these are hindrances that impact the mind and its ability to focus. Okay? The mind and its ability to focus. Now, not to split hairs, but this one strikes the physical body, okay? And because of these things, yes, focus does become more challenged. But these things, the psychological hindrances, go straight for the mind, okay? And it includes things like stress, anger, happiness, and the list goes on from there. The list goes on from there. Let me see if I can give you a couple of examples that might help you further understand this, okay? So let's say you're on your way into class and your cell phone rings. Ring, and you pick up your cell phone, and it's your roommate. And he says to you, man, did you eat my eggs? And you're like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I had some eggs this morning. What's up with that, And he said, man, look, I'm tired of y'all eating my eggs. This is not the Bank of Frank, okay? I cannot afford to be buying these eggs. I got up in the morning, just plan on having me some eggs. And all the eggs are on. You sitting there going, you have got to be kidding me, man. You eat all my food all the time, You wear my clothes, Matter of fact, when was the last time you bought some toast? You called me fussing at me about an egg. So, look, he's on the other side. Look, whatever. What I want is eggs in the morning when I buy eggs and put them in the refrigerator. So when you get out of class, you need to come home with some eggs, okay? Thank you very much. Click, you go, did he just hang up on me? You're like, you have got to be kidding. And so you come into class, right? Having just had this happen. And I'm giving the lecture of a lifetime, Okay. Are you listening to me at all? No. Because where are you when it comes to focus? You still back in that argument. Saying, and tow up my shoes and scratch my car. You know, you're still like bugging me about some eggs. I'm gonna give him some eggs. You see what I'm saying? You're so revved up that the ability to focus and to take in the message and communicate is very difficult. All right. Nothing's physically wrong with you though. You know, don't have a headache or anything, but your focus is just gone. Now, let's take it to the other end, because people forget about this too. All right, here it is. Your phone rings, and your cousin is on the phone, and she says, "We won! We won!" And you go, "Oh, Francis, won what? It's early, girl. What?" You get to the point that we won the radio contest. It's like, what radio contest? You don't know what radio contest I'm telling you about. For the trip anywhere around the world. And you go, "What?" And you get, "Yeah, you know me, my girl. You know we're going, right?" So we gotta let them know where we want to go, because you're gonna get 10 locations to choose from, and it starts to settle in. You're like, "You're kidding." Anywhere around the world, so anywhere around the world. And she says to you, "So what are you getting ready to do?" And you say, "Well, I have Professor Tingy for communication, and I can't miss that for anything in the world." Okay, so you